I was standing in the middle of a thrift store that smelled like mothballs and regret, clutching a crumpled coupon for 50% off anything under $20 when my best friend Jake lost his mind over a $6 ceramic frog. "You're seriously not splitting that with me?" he hissed, his voice bouncing off the racks of faded flannel shirts. His face was red, like he'd just run a marathon in his knockoff Converse, and I swear the old lady browsing velvet paintings nearby gave us a death glare. I'd found the coupon wedged in a dog-eared copy of Twilight, a total score after 20 minutes of digging through the book bin while Jake scrolled TikTok and whined about the Wi-Fi. Now he was calling me greedy because I wouldn't let him use it too. AITA? Here's how it went down. I'm a thrift store junkie, always have been. There's something about the chaos of it, the mismatched teacups, the creepy porcelain dolls with one eye, the faint hope you'll find a vintage Levi's jacket for $5. Jake only tags along because he's broke and likes to mooch off my finds. We're both 24, but he still acts like he's 16, texting me memes at 3 a.m. and begging for rides because his car's in the shop. It's been in the shop since 2022. We've been tight since high school when he'd sneak me Monster Energy drinks during detention, but lately he's been leaning on me harder, borrowing cash, crashing on my couch, eating my leftovers. I don't mind usually, it's Jake. But this coupon thing? It felt like a line. The store's this hole-in-the-wall called Second Chance Threads, tucked between a vape shop and a laundromat in a strip mall nobody admits to visiting. The fluorescent lights buzz like angry bees, and the owner, a guy named Marty with a handlebar mustache, blasts polka music from a Bluetooth speaker shaped like a pineapple. I go there every Saturday, hunting for weird treasures. Last week I scored a lava lamp with a crack that still works if you tilt it just right. Jake only shows up when he's dodging his landlord. That day, he'd been trailing me, half-heartedly flipping through racks of Hawaiian shirts while complaining about his latest Hinge date ghosting him. I was laser-focused on the book bin, a cardboard box labeled 50 cents or free if you take 5, when I spotted that glorious coupon sticking out of Bella Swan's angsty face. It was like finding a golden ticket, except instead of a chocolate factory, I'd get half off a chip teapot or something equally useless but cool. I showed it to Jake, grinning like an idiot. "Dude, this is my ticket to that retro alarm clock over there," I said, pointing at a clunky brass thing that looked like it belonged in a 70s cop show. He glanced up from his phone, smirked, and said, "Sweet, we can split it." "I want that frog." The frog was this hideous green ceramic thing with googly eyes, perched on a shelf like it was judging us. I laughed, thinking he was joking until he didn't laugh back. "Wait, you're serious?" I asked. He shrugged, scratching his patchy beard. "Yeah man, it's only fair. We're a team." That's when I felt the vibe shift, like the polka music got a little too cheerful for the tension brewing. Fast forward 10 minutes and we're in a full-on standoff by the register. I grabbed the alarm clock, $12, perfect for the coupon, and Jake was cradling the frog like it was his firstborn. "Come on, just let me use it after you," he said, his voice climbing into that whiny pitch I hate. "You don't even need that clock, you've got your phone." I shot back, "And you don't need a frog that looks like it's plotting your murder." He rolled his eyes so hard I thought they'd pop out. "You're so selfish, dude. I'd split it with you." That stung because he wouldn't. Last month, he borrowed my Netflix password and changed it, claiming he forgot to tell me the new one. I'd been mooching off the library's Wi-Fi to watch Stranger Things ever since. Marty, twirling his mustache like a cartoon villain, leaned over the counter. "One coupon, one discount, boys. Pick a winner or I'm keeping it." Jake glared at me, clutching the frog tighter. "You've got a job, you can afford full price. I'm on fumes here. I work part-time at a call center, troubleshooting routers for angry boomers, but I'm not exactly rolling in it. My paycheck barely covers rent and ramen. The coupon was mine, though. I found it. I did the work. You didn't even look for one," I snapped. "You just want me to hand it over because I'm the sucker who always does." His jaw dropped and he went off. "You're such a greedy asshole, man. After everything I've done for you." I almost laughed. "What, like eating my last Hot Pocket?" It got loud. Jake slammed the frog down, didn't break, thank God, and stormed out, yelling, "Enjoy your stupid clock, Scrooge." I used the coupon, paid $6, and walked home with the alarm clock ticking in my bag like a smug little victory. But then the text started. "Can't believe you do me like that. Some friend. You're so petty." I ignored them, but my phone kept buzzing until I muted it. By the time I got home, our group chat, me, Jake, and our buddies from high school, was blowing up. Jake had posted a rant. "Guess who's too cheap to help a bro out?" Everyone piled on. "Dude, just split it," from Mike. "That's cold," from Sarah. Even my sister chimed in, "You're being a dick over $3? Now I'm sitting on my lumpy couch, staring at this alarm clock that doesn't even work. The batteries were dead when I got it home, and wondering if I'm the bad guy. Jake's not wrong that he's broke, and yeah, I could have let him have the frog. It's not like I needed the clock, I just wanted it. But it's the principle, you know? He's always taking, and I'm always giving, and this one time I said no. I tried texting him later, like, hey, let's just forget it, but he left me on read. The group chat's still roasting me, calling me Coupon King like it's some hilarious meme. I feel like crap, but also why's it always on me to cave? So Reddit, I need to know, AITA for keeping the coupon to myself, or is Jake just playing the victim again? So, picture this. I'm standing in the middle of a fluorescent-lit return line at this weird hybrid store called Gadget and Garment, holding a neon orange tracksuit that looks like it escaped from an 80s workout video, and my phone's blowing up with texts from my sister calling me an ungrateful jerk. AITA for returning your gift because it didn't fit? I typed back, half joking, half serious, while the guy in front of me argued with the cashier about a blender missing its lid. The tracksuit was her big Christmas surprise for me. And yeah, I returned it, $1.45 back in my pocket, but now she's acting like I spat on her soul. I just didn't want to waste it, you know? It's not my fault I'm built like a beanpole and it hung off me like a deflated parachute. I'm 29, single, and I live in a shoebox apartment above a deli that always smells like pastrami. My sister, Lena, is 32, married, and the kind of person who thinks gift-giving is her Olympic sport. She's got this habit of wrapping presents in so much tape you need a machete to open them. And she's been on this athleisure kick ever since she started doing yoga on Zoom. Me? I'm more of a wear the same hoodie until it disintegrates guy. We're close, though. Grew up sharing a bunk bed and fighting over the last Pop-Tart. She's the planner, the one who remembers birthdays and sends passive-aggressive Venmo requests if you owe her $2. I'm the chaos gremlin who forgets to text back for 3 days. But this tracksuit thing? It's spiraling. Gadget and Garment's this bizarre place. A mashup of a tech store and a clothing outlet, like if Best Buy and TJ Maxx had a baby. It's got rows of smartwatches next to clearance racks of bedazzled tank tops. And the employees wear these teal vests that say, "Ask me about our drone slippers." No, I didn't ask. I go there sometimes to browse, maybe snag a cheap phone charger or a quirky t-shirt. Lena knows I'm into weird stuff. She once got me a mug shaped like a toilet that I actually use. So when she handed me this huge box on Christmas Eve, grinning like she'd cracked the Da Vinci Code, I figured it'd be another hit. I tore it open, with scissors because of the tape. And there it was. This blinding orange tracksuit with reflective stripes and a zipper that jingled like a tambourine. "For your morning runs," she said, all proud. I don't run. I shuffle to the fridge at best. I tried it on to be nice. The pants pooled around my ankles like I was a kid in my dad's clothes, and the jacket sleeves flapped past my fingertips. Lena clapped like I was a runway model, but her husband, Greg, snorted into his eggnog and said, "You look like a traffic cone." She glared at him, then at me when I laughed. "It's adjustable," she insisted, pointing at some drawstrings I couldn't figure out. I nodded, said thanks, and stuffed it back in the box, planning to quietly return it later. I mean, $45 is half my grocery budget. I wasn't gonna let it sit in my closet collecting dust mites. The return happened last week. I'd been putting it off, but I was near Gadget and Garment anyway, picking up a USB cable for my ancient laptop. The tracksuit was still in its box, tags on, receipt tucked in the tissue paper Lena had layered like it was a sacred artifact. I waited in line behind Blender Guy, handed it over to a cashier with a nose ring and a vibe that screamed, "I'd rather be anywhere else," and walked out with a crisp $45 gift card. Felt like a win, practical, not personal. I even texted Lena a pic of the card, like, "Hey, turned your gift into something I can use. Big mistake." She called me 5 minutes later, voice shaking like she was about to cry or yell or both. "You returned it?" After I spent weeks picking it out. Here's where it blew up. We're on the phone. Me pacing outside the store while some dude in a teal vest hawks drone slippers to nobody, and Lena's unloading. "I thought you'd love it. It's bold, it's fun." "It's you," she said. I tried to explain, "Lena, I appreciate it, but it didn't fit." I'm 6 feet 2 inches and 150 pounds. It looked like I was drowning. She wasn't having it. You could have tailored it. Or worn it ironically. Returning it says you don't value me. I laughed, bad move, and said, it's not about you. It's about me not tripping over pant legs. That's when she snapped. You're so ungrateful. I don't even know why I bother. Click. She hung up, and I stood there, gift card in hand, feeling like I just kicked a puppy. Since then, it's been a mess. Lena's been icing me out, short texts, no emojis, which is basically her version of a war declaration. She told our mom, who called me saying, just keep the damn thing next time. She's sensitive about gifts. Greg, the traitor, texted me a shrug emoji and, you're on your own, bro. I tried fixing it. Sent her a $10 Starbucks gift card with a note like, peace offering? But she Venmo'd me back $10 with keep it in the memo. Ouch. Now I'm paranoid she's gonna return the toilet mug I got her last year out of spite. I've got this $45 gadget and garment card burning a hole in my wallet, but every time I think about using it, I feel guilty. Like, did I really screw her over by not keeping something I'd never wear? I keep replaying it. Yeah, I could have lied, said I loved it and donated it later. But returning it felt honest. I didn't want her money to go to waste, even if it was a gift. Still, her ungrateful comment stings. She's not wrong that she put effort in, and I know she's got this thing about being appreciated after our dad bailed when we were kids. Maybe I should have sucked it up and worn it once for a selfie. But also, why's it on me to fake it when she didn't even ask my size? So, Reddit, tell me straight, AITA for returning the tracksuit, or is Lena overreacting to a practical move? Okay, so I'm in this tiny, cluttered antique shop that smells like old wood and desperation, and I just asked the clerk to grab a beat-up typewriter from the display shelf because I wanted to see if it still worked. He sighed like I'd asked him to carry me up a mountain, handed it over, and when I didn't buy it because the Q key was missing and it cost $80, he rolled his eyes so hard I thought they'd fall out. Now I'm wondering if I'm the jerk here. AITA for asking him to do his job and then walking away empty-handed? Let me set the scene. I'm 27, a freelance writer who's way too into vintage stuff, think chipped teacups, yellowed paperbacks, anything with a story. My apartment's a museum of junk I've haggled for at flea markets, and I've got this weird obsession with typewriters. Not to use them, I'm not that pretentious, but to display them like little time capsules. The shop's called Dusty Relics, this cramped spot downtown where the windows are foggy with grime and the open sign flickers like it's begging for mercy. I go there maybe once a month, poking around for treasures while the owner's ancient tabby cat stares at me from a velvet cushion. The clerk's this guy I've seen a few times, mid-30s, scruffy beard, always wearing a faded Nirvana shirt like he's stuck in 1994. He's not the owner, just the guy who shuffles around, ringing up sales and grumbling under his breath. I don't think he likes me much. Last time I was in, I haggled over a $10 brass candlestick and won, and he muttered something about hipsters as I left. Whatever, dude, I'm just trying to live my broke aesthetic life. Anyway, this time I spotted the typewriter on a high shelf behind the counter, surrounded by cracked porcelain dolls and a taxidermy squirrel that looked mildly pissed off. It was a 1950s Royal, black and boxy with that satisfying clack potential if it worked. I sidled up to the counter, dodging a stack of warped vinyl records, and said, hey, could you grab the typewriter for me? I just want to check it out. He was mid-scroll on his phone, probably read it, ironically, and let out this long, dramatic sigh. Yeah, sure, he said, like I'd asked him to donate a kidney. He dragged a stepladder over, climbed up with the enthusiasm of a sloth, and plopped the typewriter down in front of me. The cat hissed from its throne like it knew I was trouble. I ran my fingers over the keys, pressed a few clack, clack, thud. No Q. I typed "Yuk brown fox" on a scrap of paper he'd tossed me, and it looked like a typo-riddled cry for help. Plus $80? For a busted relic? Nah. Thanks, man, I said, sliding it back toward him. I'll pass. That's when the eye roll happened, slow, deliberate, paired with a little huff like I'd wasted his entire day. Cool, he said, voice dripping with sarcasm, and hauled it back up the ladder while I stood there feeling like I'd just kicked his dog. I grabbed a $3 skeleton key from a jar to ease the awkwardness and paid with exact change, 3 crumpled singles I fished from my jeans. He didn't say a word, just handed me a receipt and went back to his phone. I left with the key jingling in my pocket and a vague sense I'd done something wrong. Here's the thing, I get it, retail sucks. I worked at a gas station in college. Dealing with drunk dudes yelling about Slurpee prices taught me patience is a myth. But isn't it his job to show me stuff? The shelf was behind the counter, not like I could climb up there myself without getting yelled at or mauled by that cat. And I didn't make a mess or demand he gift wrap it. I just looked and said no thanks. Sure, I could have bought it out of guilt, but $80 for a typewriter missing a letter is highway robbery even for a nostalgia nut like me. I'm not running a charity for overpriced junk. Since then, I've been overthinking it. My roommate, Sam, laughed when I told her and said, dude, he's just salty because you didn't pat his commission if he even gets one. Maybe. But then I posted a pic of the skeleton key on Insta with a caption like, saved $80 today, and my buddy Nate commented, bet the clerk hated you lol. Now I'm paranoid I'm that customer, the one who wastes everyone's time and leaves with a trinket. I've avoided dusty relics for a week, but I keep picturing Nirvana guy trash talking me to the cat. I even dug out my old typewriter, a $20 garage sale find, and typed this whole story on it, Coup and all, just to feel less guilty. So Reddit, I need your take. Was I the asshole for asking him to grab the typewriter and not buying it? I didn't mean to be a pain, but his eye roll's haunting me. Or is he just a grump who needs to chill? Hit me with the truth, I can take it. So, I'm sitting on a sticky bench in this massive outlet mall, surrounded by screaming kids and the faint smell of pretzels, when I finally hit my limit and ditched my friend Mia after she spent 2 hours agonizing over which $15 tank top screamed boho chic. She texted me later, furious, saying I'm an impatient jerk who ruined her day. AITA for refusing to wait and bailing instead of playing fashion consultant while my phone died and my soul withered? Here's the deal. I'm 25, a graphic designer who'd rather be home tweaking Photoshop layers than navigating the 7th circle of retail hell. Mia's my oldest friend, met her in middle school when she lent me a pencil during a pop quiz, and she's a shopaholic with a closet that could outfit a small village. She's got this infectious laugh and a habit of texting me TikTok dances at midnight, but her shopping marathons are brutal. We've done this dance before. She drags me to stores, I nod at everything, she buys half the rack. I usually grin and bear it because she's Mia and she'd do the same if I needed her to, like proofread my resume. But this time, I was done. The outlet mall's the sprawling beast an hour from our city, a concrete jungle of discount Nikes and overpriced smoothies. It's got 200 stores, a food court with a carousel, and these fake palm trees that look like they're judging you. Mia loves it, calls it her happy place, and convinced me to come because she needed a second opinion for a big date outfit. I said yes, figuring it'd be an hour, tops. I wore my comfiest sneakers, brought a portable charger, and even packed a granola bar like a good Boy Scout. We got there at noon, sun blazing, parking lot packed with minivans. First stop, a store called Trendy Threads, all distressed denim and fairy lights. She grabbed a pile of clothes and dove into the fitting room while I scrolled X on my phone, liking memes about cats in tiny hats. An hour in, she's still at it. She's tried on 6 pairs of jeans, 3 dresses, and a floppy hat that made her look like a mushroom. Does this say effortless or I'm trying too hard? She asked, twirling in a skirt that jingled with little bells. It's cute, I said, my go-to response after the 10th, what do you think? My charger was dead by then, forgot to plug it in last night, and my battery was at 12%. I suggested we grab food, but she waved me off. One more store, she said, dragging me to a place called Boho Bazaar where everything smelled like patchouli and cost more than my rent. She started piling crop tops and flowy pants into her arms, chatting about her date with some guy named Chad who loves a free spirit. I parked on a bench outside the fitting room, granola bar long gone, stomach growling. 2 hours hit and I'm losing it. She's holding 2 identical beige cardigans, debating vibes while a salesgirl nods like she's paid per compliment. My legs are numb, my phone's at 3%, and the carousel music's looping Sweet Caroline for the 5th time. I stood up, stretched, and said, Mia, I'm gonna head out. Text me when you're done. She poked her head out mid-zip in a dress that looked like a tablecloth and went, what? You're leaving? I'm almost finished. I pointed at my dying phone. I've been here 2 hours, dude. I'm tapped. She frowned, all pouty, and said, fine, go. I'll figure it out myself. I grabbed my bag, waved, and bolted for the exit, snagging a $5 pretzel on the way to my car. Freedom tasted salty and glorious. Cue the fallout. I got home, plugged in my phone, and saw 17 texts from Mia. Wow, didn't know you were so impatient. I thought you'd support me. Chad's gonna think I'm a mess now. She'd bought half the store anyway, sent me pics of bags piled in her trunk, and was mad I abandoned her. I texted back, sorry, but 2 hours is my limit. Hope Chad likes the haul. She replied, you're the worst wingman ever, with a crying emoji. Our group chat lit up later, our friends split down the middle. Jake said I'm a saint for lasting that long, Priya called me a dick for ditching. Mia's been cold since, posting cryptic Insta stories about real friends with flower crown filters. I feel bad, she was stressed about the date, but also I'm not her personal stylist or a human battery pack. Now I'm second-guessing. I could have sucked it up, found an outlet, waited it out. She's always there when I need her, like when she drove me to urgent care after I sliced my hand on a broken mug. But 2 hours of does this make my butt look good? When I'm starving and bored out of my skull feels like torture, not friendship. So Reddit, lay it on me, AITA for bailing on Mia's shopping spree, or was she asking too much of my sanity? So, I'm standing at this rickety wooden stall in the middle of nowhere, haggling over a dented copper lantern that looks like it's seen better days, when my coworker Tim, who's been eyeing it like it's the Holy Grail, calls me a mean bastard for snagging it out from under him. It was the last item at this weird roadside crossroads market. And yeah, I bought it, but now he's acting like I stabbed him in the back over a $15 piece of junk. ITA for grabbing it first? Or is he just salty he didn't move faster? Let me paint the picture. I'm 31, a mechanic who spends most days elbow deep in grease, and I've got a soft spot for oddball finds. Rusted signs? Old tools? Anything with character. Tim's 28, works the front desk at the garage, and he's the kind of guy who'd talk your ear off about his latest podcast obsession if you let him. We're not besties, but we get along. Swap dumb jokes over coffee. Carpool when his beat-up Corolla's acting up. This market thing was a fluke. We'd finished a late shift fixing a transmission, and on the drive home, we spotted this cluster of stalls at a dusty intersection. 2 dirt roads crossing under a flickering streetlight, surrounded by cornfields. It was like something out of a horror movie, but with flea market vibes. The setup was wild. For rickety tables manned by grizzled vendors, selling everything from jars of cloudy pickles to a taxidermy raccoon with a bow tie. No signs, no prices. Just a vibe of, name your offer and don't ask questions. A generator hummed nearby, powering a string of Christmas lights that buzzed like angry wasps. Tim and I parked, figuring we'd stretch our legs after 8 hours of wrenching. I had $20 in my pocket. He had a crumpled 10. We wandered separately, nodding at each other across the stalls like kids at a carnival. I nabbed a $3 bottle opener shaped like a fish. Rusted, but cool. And then I saw it. The lantern. Copper, tarnished green, with a little glass window cracked but intact. It was perched on the edge of a table next to a pile of moth-eaten quilts, and I could already picture it hanging in my garage. Tim saw it too. He was 10 feet away, haggling over a jar of what he swore was homemade hot sauce, when he clocked me heading for the lantern. Yo, Dave, you going for that? He called, abandoning the sauce. I nodded, picking it up to check the weight. Solid, not flimsy. The vendor, this old dude with a face like a walnut, grunted, $15. I glanced at Tim, who was jogging over, his sneakers kicking up dust. Dude, I've been looking for something like that for my patio, he said, breathless. Can I have it? I hesitated. My hand was already on it, and I'd been imagining it glowing next to my workbench. Finders keepers, man, I said, half laughing, and fished out my cash. The vendor snatched it, and Tim's face fell like I'd just run over his dog. That's when it got tense. Seriously? You're gonna be that guy? He snapped, crossing his arms. I shrugged, lantern dangling from my hand. You were over there with your sauce. I got here first. He scoffed, loud enough that the quilt lady shot us a look. It's not about first, it's about not being a dick. I told you I wanted it. I raised an eyebrow. You said you were looking for something like it. Not that it was life or death. He threw up his hands. Whatever, man. Keep your stupid lamp. Real nice teamwork. He stormed off to the car, leaving me standing there while the vendor smirked like he'd seen this movie before. I bought the lantern, tossed it in the trunk, and drove us home in silence. Him staring out the window, me gripping the wheel, feeling like a jerk but not sure why. The next day at work, it's a war zone. Tim's barely talking to me, just grunts when I ask for a customer's keys, and he's telling everyone I stole his lantern. Our boss, Carla, overheard and laughed, saying, "You two fighting over a lamp is the dumbest thing I've heard this week." But then Tim cornered me by the coffee machine, all serious. "You didn't have to be mean about it, Dave. I'd have let you have it if it was reversed." That hit me. I don't know if he would've, though. Last month, he snagged the last donut in the break room and ate it in front of me, grinning. I let it go because who cares about a donut? This felt different, though. It was the last one and I wanted it too. Now I'm home, lantern on my workbench, glowing faintly with a tea light I stuck in it. It's badass, but every time I look at it, I hear Tim's mean comment. I could have let him have it, $15 isn't breaking me, but it's not like I tackled him for it. He had his shot and didn't take it. Still, the garage vibe's off and I'm dodging glares over spark plugs. So, Reddit, I need the verdict. AITA for buying the last lantern when Tim wanted it? Or is he just mad he lost the scavenger hunt?